You are now listening to The Higher Podcast, brought to you by Flying Arts Studios, the best podcast in the world, according to us.
All right. What's up?
Hey,
What's going on? I'm David.
I am Kim.
Yep. This is Shadara.
Yeah, I'm not Kim.
Kim is on annual leave at the moment, so he's probably kicking back somewhere. But we thought we'd record a little trailer, a little episode 0 to give you guys some context on what this podcast is about. If you're listening for the first time, if you've never heard of us before, a little introduction. But first things first, we're gonna have a little shot.
Gotta set it up. This is what you're gonna be seeing for the rest of the episodes.
Pretty much. So essentially, depending on the guests, if they're up for it, we usually ask if they want to do a little soju shot. If they say yes, then we just go for it. If not, then we might have like coffee or water or whatever they're into. So
Anything that calms the nerves.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, all right.
Let's go.
Chani.
Johnny.
Oh,
That pineapple one. It's a little...
it's not my favorite,
No.
but it's okay.
We try new things.
We are trying new things here. Shout outs, good day.
Sponsor us, please.
All right. Shannara's going to ask me some questions. Some questions about, I guess,
Let's
just
go.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just fire them away.
I mean, like we were talking before, there's a lot of new people in the scene. There's a lot of people who haven't got a clue who Flying Arts are. Like, what do you do? So give us a bit of backstory.
What do we do?
Yeah.
What do we actually do?
You tell me.
Well, essentially, we started off as just a film production company. Kim and I got together at a bagel shop.
Cute.
And I had this idea to just, start a company that would create videos for people. And this was coming straight out of film school. Then we were already dancing with Dom, and Dom came along and he was studying media at RMIT actually. And then, he wanted to team up with us and we were like, yeah, let's do it. So we got together, created Flying Art Studios. Back then it was Flying Art Films. And then, fast forward 7 years later, we do a whole bunch of different things now as well. So, we built up, a bunch of clients, but we also started doing like Kaizen Creative, which was like a filmmaking workshop series. We do like events, block parties. We sponsor events as well. So like Whacking events or like the Crump event, O2 Studios, we have a partnership with them. So yeah, we're quite heavily like invested in the dance and creative community in Melbourne. And I guess that in a nutshell is who we are. And we're just, a bunch of creatives doing creative things, but also, running a business as well. So, we're balancing, creativity, art, business, and, at the end of the day, like we're also like Asian Australians too. So yeah, we're doing our thing.
Yeah, and now you guys have a podcast.
Now we have a podcast.
I mean, it's not a new thing. You had
It's not.
something before called...
We had Food for Thought,
Yeah.
which was the first podcast that we dropped a couple years back now. I think maybe even like 3 years.
Before pandemic.
Yes, before the pandemic. So we had a podcast called Food for Thought where we'd like, initially we were like eating burgers and talking to people.
That's
That was the
cute.
concept. It was cool. But then we realized like you couldn't really talk while you're eating. It was
True.
very hard. We're like, so what are you like,
I mean, some people like that kind of thing.
Some
but
people do. I found it quite difficult to have a
Yeah.
conversation like
True.
like scoffing down a burger. So we dropped the burgers. We kept the conversations. We did like 11 episodes. The pandemic hit. We were in lockdown as we were on a roll with the podcast, and we're like, shit. We tried to keep going. Well, we did keep going. We did it on Zoom. We had like 4 episodes on Zoom, Joyce being one of them.
Oh, okay.
So we actually got her back. But yeah, so after that, we lost a bit of momentum. We're like, Zoom's not really the vibe. We came out of lockdown. We were like trying to come back with like a new vibe, but it didn't really hit. We're like, we don't know what we're doing. We need a different name. Let's do something different. Doing a podcast is like fucking hard. Like trying to organize,
Yeah.
like guests, you know, the branding, recording, filming, all that kind of stuff. So
There's a lot of pre-production that goes into it.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work. So, you know, we weren't really focused on it at the time, last year anyway, coming out of lockdown. But now after, you know, a year and a bit, we have finally been able to set it back up. You know, we had all the equipment, we bought everything. So, yeah, it was always like on the back of my mind in terms of like, all right, podcast, like one day. Because I loved it, you know what I mean? Having conversations with people, being able to just like sit down and just talk to someone and like share insightful like knowledge with people. And I felt like we always had like really great discussions with like our clients and like creatives. Why don't we share this with the community so they can, you know, they can learn, and they can like maybe learn from our mistakes or learn from what we've been doing and what works, and then use that to elevate whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, now we're back. And speaking of elevating, you know, the Higher podcast.
Oh, the Higher podcast. What is that? That's
we want to get
something
higher.
new.
Yeah, we want to get higher. Maybe not like weed higher.
I mean, keep it to
But-
whatever interpretation you may have.
Interpret it how you want to interpret it. But yeah, essentially we want to create a podcast that helps people, you know, elevate and become a higher version of themselves. And it doesn't have to be like spiritually. It can just be like, you know, I learned something new today, or I'm feeling a bit down and, you know, I'm a bit sad.
A little pick me up.
A little pick me up.
Cute.
I want to like just chuck on the podcast, have a listen, have a laugh, and just feel a little bit better. So yeah.
Okay, that's exciting. And can we get a little bit of a sneak peek of what's to come?
What's to come?
What's to come?
So we've already done like 5 episodes now. You know, some of them include Annie Bowie, Pastels, Matt John, the creative director of Anatomy Studios and People Hair Care, also co-owner of King's Domain. We got JM, the photographer. Yes.
Beautiful work.
Oh, his stuff is incredible. We just met him at a party, Annie's birthday, and we're like, hey man, jump on our podcast. And he did.
But that's how cool it is. Like
Yeah.
you just meet random people in your everyday life and just trying to collab with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a great way for us to collab and for everyone else to just like get to know new people too. So we're trying to really like diversify who we get on. Obviously there's, you know, a lot of dancers.
Of course.
So, you know, we got Joyce as well coming on, you know, Gian and Lamarok. So there's definitely going to be a lot of dancers, but also a lot of people that we have worked with. And I feel like it's almost like a different world in terms of like our clients and like the industry. So we really want to try and like bring 2 worlds together and share that with everyone else. So maybe you're like an up and coming, you know, creative, whether that be like graphic design, you know, video, photography, whatever. You can, you know, chuck this on and then just like, you know, learn some game.
I mean, if you're a cool creative who's got something to say, hit David up.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
We're super open to, you know, having conversations, and yeah, if you want to chat, or if you know someone, or you'd love to see us interview someone, then we are totally open for it. And if you have questions for like anyone as well, we're like, yeah, this is for everyone, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, episode 1 is coming up.
Episode 1 is dropping. I don't know when it's going to drop after this, but it'll be very, very, very soon, if not the same time. So yeah, check out episode 1. We're off to a very laid back start, I feel, for this episode. And then we kind of pick up the pace towards the second half. Yeah, it's super laid back. And I mentioned that at the start of the podcast too, where we're just like, hey, we just have a conversation. So there's no like full on formal introduction where we like talk to our guests. We just like come through.
We go along with the vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go with the vibe.
Go with the vibe.
Go with the vibe.
The higher vibe.
The higher vibe.
Yeah.
Don't force it.
No.
No. Go with the flow.
But yeah, let's wrap this up.
Yep. Thank you for listening to episode 0. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. We put a lot of work into this. Shouts to Shannara, shouts to Kim, shouts to Dom, shouts to Yetta coming through and helping out, all our guests so far, all of our future guests. We hope you guys really enjoy it, and if you like it, then give it a like, follow, subscribe, share it to your friends, share it to someone that you think it might help. And yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Woohoo.
Peace.